Welcome to Bottom Line Sports Talk. I'm George Abraham. You know my partner, Albert Kim. And Albert, Sydney Watts, I think we should just put her name there and just change the circumstance because it seems like it's going to be every week.
Yeah, I got to admit, Sydney, we're going to have to shorten the load on you. You're going to have to pitch a perfect game to make our list.
Oh, my gosh.
Because when you pitch a no-hitter, it's not out of the ordinary. But she did pitch a perfect game this past week and second of her career. You know when you're mowing them down with 17 strikeouts, too. It's not like they're great fielding.
I mean, so that means 4 people put the ball in play. That doesn't mean to win anywhere.
Right. So we want to explain how if Sydney doesn't make it every week, we know she could.
Yeah.
In the same game, Abby Toth homered, drove in 4 runs. Samantha Severn also homered and drove 2 RBIs. And McKenna Hogan had 3 RBIs. Kylie Fulkheim drove a pair of runs. And so you get 17 runs and pitch a perfect game, you make our show.
And they're 10-0 also, the Falcons. So obviously there's more out there.
Get ready. Get ready.
There's something out there besides her. Not that she could be like Queen and her maids or whatever. He only had 3 fielders. I remember going to see her strike these guys out one after another. It was kind of comical.
And we're talking about big-time players.
Oh, no, big time.
Not George and Al.
No, the best guys in town. And also I've seen that young lady strike Paul Blair out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the king in the court. He would. You guys are too young for this.
You missed it.
He would pitch against the pros and strike all 4 of them out.
He could strike you out blindfolded. He could strike you out from second base.
Blindfolded.
And all he had was a shortstop, a catcher, a first base, and 1 fielder.
He would embarrass himself.
Oh no. That first of all, we've talked about this. That 40-some feet is one thing.
It's on you so fast.
Number 2, it'll go up.
Oh, they make the ball move.
See, that's the other thing. Like, I know curveball, I know whatever, riser, but that one that goes up, because you can't get it. It's that simple. I've watched
it's also coming fast. It's not coming slow.
And the other thing, too, I was talking to one of my buddies, umpire. He said he umped forever. And, 80s, mid-80s. So one day he's up at Edinburgh somewhere again, and some kid comes in throwing 90.
You saw the difference, right?
He said, it's huge.
Yeah, he sees the difference.
Remember the night you and I were doing a game on TV, and we were with the old timer we do the show with, and he thought this kid was in the 90s. And we thought it was fast, but it didn't have that jump at the end. And Clement was there. He pitched for the Red Sox, Cubs, as a World Series ring, whatever. We said, Matt, what do you think this kid's throwing? Now remember, no gum, we're just looking. And he said if he were 90, he'd be in Cape Cod.
Wouldn't be here today.
That's what he said, remember?
Yeah. I just had this talk this last week. George and I don't do a rehearsal. A coach who coached for 35 years said he saw one kid in 35 years throw 90. He said, now, you'll hear people say,
he's
throwing 92.
Oh, those guys.
He said, one. He said there was one. He said, now, there was other guys throwing 84, 85.
Yeah.
He said, when you see 90, I said, like you just said, you say, oh my gosh, is that? Remember, this ain't 100 either.
No, my thought is just from the naked eye, it appears to get faster as it gets there, and that's when. And I said, because I asked that guy, I said, come on now. He said, no. He said, you'd know.
As I'm watching this, old grandma and grandpa are saying, my grandson throws 92.
Yeah, he throws it.
No, I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
My grandson throws 92.
Oh, I'm in Butler. Their team stunk forever. And they go, he throws an 87, he throws, this isn't Kennywood. You understand? This isn't Kennywood. Where you get, the old man takes his shirt off and throws 64.
I see it.
You know what I mean? This is not Kennywood. I guarantee that ball, you get up there against her, and that ball's on you before you even realize.
Before you blink.
No, and if it can rise, now you can't hit it.
Someday.
It's one thing in curveball.
The girls will be saying, I bet against.
Yeah.
I bet against Sydney.
Yeah, I hit the ball.
Lots.
No, we had a guy in my little league like that. If you got a hit, you were getting 1. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
It was every game. These guys are in 7th grade going to 8, so they're already older. They're 5'11", 6. They're monsters.
Oh, yeah, size.
They're on you, especially at that age.
Yeah, when you're so close to them.
And I'm like, you wanted to get your bat in the ball. You felt like you did something.
You did do something. Isabella O'Brien did something also. A no-hitter from McDonald.
Absolutely.
12-0. O'Brien hurled 7 innings, struck out 12 batters. Congratulations to Isabella. Hopefully we'll be talking about her more often too.
Yes.
Milena Thoth, we've already been talking about her at Canfield. She also threw a no-hitter. But that tells you you're getting somewhere on our show that 2 hitters aren't good enough to make our show. It's all perfect games and no hitters.
No, we were talking about that the other day too on the radio. It's a big deal. Like, we have athletes over here. If we would not do anything but read names if we didn't cut it some. That's how good the players are over here.
That's a good way to
and
say it.
and not just
Every
basketball,
sport. No, every
baseball, football, wrestling.
Every sport.
These guys are good. And when you get to Columbus, baby, you better be good.
You have to be good to get there.
See, this isn't. You were AAU tournament this weekend, huh?
Yes.
Just tell them quickly.
Well, my grandson plays in
and he's a good player. No, he's a good player.
Nice player.
Yeah.
He won the first 2 games easily.
Yeah.
So I watched them win, and they played 2 decent teams.
Decent.
So I said, what was the score on Sunday? 53-16 they got beat. And they said, these men, remember I said, they weren't boys. 7th graders. They were men.
Yeah. We said he pinned him off the bank.
Yeah.
We have a story. We observed the referees. So one time we're together somewhere with a bunch of referees, and they're talking, and guy raised his hand. He said something. What about dunking in warm-ups? This is back in the day, you know what you were. And the guy said, what are you talking about? He said, you ref 7th grade. He goes, I got middling. He goes, which, it was East Liverpool also.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
They had guys, they had big men out there.
You had to say that at much school. No, I'm sorry. I understand
The
now.
guy said, I worked through that theft the other day up there, and one of the old guys from our camp was one of those guys.
AAU theft.
Yeah, you grand theft. There's a grand, because over a certain amount of money, it becomes grand theft, right? I don't know what the limit is, but you can't go to Judge Wapner anymore. You have to go to the big court.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they're in there, and a guy from our old camp comes over. I know him, but I don't. In other words, it's been 30 years.
All time, yes.
So he says, that camp, he said, I'm looking at this riffraff out here. And he says, I said, there was a game at noon, Liverpool and Blackhawk. Then at 2, you'd be playing Kennedy, or I was at Grove City or George Jr. We'd be playing Newcastle.
Yes.
And you couldn't see that game in March.
No, there were 6 playoff teams playing.
Out of 8.
Yeah.
like my one buddy, when we used to go to Simrock to that camp, my buddy was a coach at Greensburg, coached there. A legend, great, better guy too. Yes. Hard to believe. He says, he said, if I went 5-5 in that camp, he said, I knew I was loaded.
Yes.
No, he didn't say pretty good. He said, if I went 5-5,
and that's what a camp's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to
run roughshod it through these.
Yeah, you win every game 93-18.
I went with this one buddy of mine once. This is about his kid was D1 player, ended up transferring back, but the bottom line is he was pretty good. Ended up at Pitt Johnson, which he probably should have gone in the first place. That's another
Still,
day.
that's good basketball, too.
Oh, yeah. So I go with his dad. I said, we're going to go over to the watch game. Go over. They're playing this JV team from Sharpsville. Now, this is Dwayne Woodruff's son.
Hey.
It was 117 to 9 or something.
Who got better, George?
I said, that's my first question. I said, all right, coach. I call him coach. I said, who got better here? Your team didn't. And I know they didn't because they were just running back all day. I mean, sometimes common sense has to take over. Like, we have a buddy, we love him. But he drives here from North Carolina every weekend.
I got to make fun of him. I have to.
No, he said the other day.
He could save his money for something different.
You could buy some books or give some money to the homeless shelter or the soup
Drive
kitchen.
from North Carolina.
Yeah. No, you could get 8 hours in the gym. You could work out twice for 2 hours, take a nice lunch break, and come back. And still you'd not be in Pennsylvania.
Exactly.
I said to him, where are you going to be next week? He goes,
oh, no, I hate to hear
this is pretty good, Pittsburgh. You understand to
He's
me?
in North Carolina.
To me, I might as well say Alaska. I ain't going there.
Right.
So then another time I said, so then we're going to be at Spooky Nook. No,
Second place with the
yeah. No, I got to ask you, first of all, how do they know who's there?
They don't.
200,000 square feet or something?
They don't know. It's the biggest thing I've ever heard of. A hotel inside of it.
It's incredible.
Let's talk about Melania Toss. She threw that no-hitter.
Absolutely.
Struck out 15, allowed just 2 base runners.
Why are they playing Kaiser, West Virginia? I'm curious. Is it in the Panhandle somewhere? It's not that far. I'd have to look it up. Yeah. It seems like a strange foe unless you'd be somewhere.
Maybe because Canfield's so good, they have to hunt down some people. Well, we'll find out.
That could be.
We'll find out. Locally, right across the border, Jordan Fee officially hired at Gannon. George knew the father. I knew him well. George knows him much more than me.
He took over one coach after me at Grove City.
Right.
That's probably why.
Yes.
And I've stayed in it. He's a good friend as far as that goes, but this is a big job.
Yeah, Gannon takes their basketball really seriously.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like Mount Union in football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And there's a town, and there's a TV station. I'm going to tell you right now. I go to Super games. 2 teams have adult fans. IUP, because there's a town in Indiana, and Gannon because of Erie.
Yeah, and IUP has continued to be really good. Gannon was really good.
I don't know.
And now all of a sudden they're not. They're saying, okay, Coach V,
putting up with that.
let's get this done. All right, George, let's go to the NBA.
Now let me see. First of all, he was assistant at Nova, and they won the national championship. And they beat West Liberty. That's the best part. The West Liberty coach had gone to Nova. It was like a mirror.
It was high-scoring game.
Oh, I would sit with his dad at Super games. This is no lie. He'd have it on the phone. I go, what's the score? He goes, 61-54. I'm thinking it's over. He goes, it's halftime. I'm like, it's what?
That's how they play.
That's how okay, let's look at the NBA. The playoffs. Al says it. Once the playoffs start, it's different. If you don't believe, put it on and watch the freak. Normally they get out of the way. He's laying in
How about the day I
getting
read
an
about
MRI.
that after George told me about it? Now the clamor is take charges out of basketball.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Wait a minute.
Then just make it a whole.
Just let them score.
Yeah, an athletic game.
Yeah.
See the athletes. The only way to play against the athletes is to get in their way.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't, so.
I tweeted that today. If he ever added a 2-foot stop to his
never
game,
had it.
no, but if he did, you'd be done because he'd shot fake and then he'd step over to the other side.
Yeah, I know.
No, he would be, and he wouldn't be hurt.
No.
Add that. But no, by the way, the X-rays were negative, MRI negative. It's just a bruise. So Wednesday nights, what can he take?
He's going to play.
Yeah. Oh, well, he has to. They're not that good with that. I mean, see, Al said this too. Memphis and Milwaukee, they both won without their stars during the year.
Oh yeah, Philly's
They're playing the Nets. You
They
know
don't
what I
care
mean?
who
They're
they're
playing
playing.
it. Yeah,
It's
in the
the
playoffs.
third game of the thing. It's
No,
crazy.
it's
I
not.
got when I read this, George, I started doing some investigating in my own mind, and I said, here's what I would do if they're worried about injuries. Put the hand check back in, and you wouldn't see guys just going to the basket.
At will.
No, it will, because you can't guard them. They're when they took the hand check out.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is no chance to guard Fox.
Yeah, no. Your guy. There's no chance to guard that guy. The Knicks.
No chance.
What's his name?
Brunson.
No, Albert. Listen, I watched him the other day. The guy's like on roller skates guarding him.
I know.
The guy's falling down and he has him going sideways. Once he gets him, it's over.
Yeah. So the rule change that they had. That's why you can't compare errors.
Yeah, because Jordan, they'd knock him down.
Yeah, Harper. Remember Ron Harper?
Yeah.
He would put his one hand on you.
Yeah.
And these are great offensive guys.
Yeah.
He'd tell you where you're going.
Yeah.
Like you ain't going that way.
No.
Now they're not allowed to do it.
No.
So whistle
No.
immediately.
No.
So there's no guarding them.
No.
There's no guarding them.
No, and that charge that guy took, he wouldn't have taken it in January.
No, never.
That's the other
Never.
thing. Don't forget that part. It's a two-parter there.
Never.
Let's talk about the playoffs, though. Miami and the Lakers, what's your goal? Get one game in a row. Guess what? They already did.
Yeah, I thought the Lakers could win it all. I told George that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I still think they can. Miami cannot. Miami can beat Milwaukee without the freak.
Right.
They're not.
Hey, let's talk about that for a minute. We talk about playoffs different this time. You think about if you were drawing up a script for the Lakers, just drawing it up. Golden State loses. I know it's only one, but they lost.
Right.
Phoenix loses.
How about these teams? Yeah, it's the playoffs.
And they're the ones that you would
talked
look,
about were the best
but
teams.
you know what causes part of this? We used to talk about this in PA and Ohio. When there's an upset coming in other words, there's no way the Lakers are 7. I mean, they were this year. They're not. When you get to 2 and you look at who we got,
Yes.
the Lakers. And then yesterday, the guy comes off the bench. Now you had to hear these fans where the guy played before he went to the Lakers. The one that had
Gary Shermer was there.
Yeah, he had all these streets.
I know he did.
I watched him play a million
He never
times.
played like that. And
No.
that's how you win games, though.
No, absolutely.
That is how you win games. When somebody
Absolutely.
steps up, and you're not expecting it. It happens every year.
No.
All the time.
All right, let's talk about this now. They won without Morant during the year. To me, that means nothing. If they don't have Morant, they're going fast.
They're going out.
4? 5?
5, I'd say 5.
All right, let's talk about that. They'll be done quickly. We can agree on that.
With Morant out. Now, how long is he out? Is one more game?
No, they said he didn't see. remember now, he's out there feeling, well, with all that's happened to me this year. Well, you didn't pull a gun on us. It wasn't like your mom.
Did he say that?
Yes, he did.
See,
I
that's
watched
why
it.
you just have to find him again.
What was
you
me?
just have to find him
Wait a minute.
Say, no,
Did you hear about Westbrook?
I didn't pull the gun.
Did you hear about Westbrook?
No.
Halftime.
He
He went into the loge after a guy was yelling at him.
He's so nuts.
No, I know sometimes these guys cross the line. They get some beer muscle.
No, they do. They do cross the line, but you can't go in the loge.
No, you had to hear it.
Oh, jeez.
Well, let's get back. We'll get back with Memphis. They're going
This
to.
stuff always comes up. We just start want to talk about the games.
You can't talk about it. No, see, two reasons why. One, it's the 2020s, and two, social media. If a guy burps,
Yeah, I got it.
it's on TV.
got it,
Yeah, that's the thing. Now, the Bucks, I think the freak will play. It'll be a matter of, well, let's be honest, they'll shoot them up.
I think they have to.
I mean,
they found out they can't win without him.
Yeah. Now, the Clipper win was impressive. Now, if you want to know Kawhi Leonard circa 2016 or whatever, whenever Toronto,
Right.
Look at that game last night because he knew Paul George wasn't out there. It was Kawhi at Toronto night.
Yeah, he just takes over.
Hey, Al, I looked this
There's nothing you can do against
But
him.
how about this, though, Albert? 38 points, only 24 shots.
Yeah, he just takes over.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I got to say. And he doesn't.
And once again, I told you, I'm repeating myself, there's nothing they can do to guard him.
No.
Like if you're not allowed to stop him,
No, he's just going to win.
he'll back his way in.
Yeah, they'll step back. Or yeah, he has that. Hey, Jokic made a play last night. Shaq raved about it. And Shaq's pretty tough critic because he doesn't like to give too many post players
Right.
credit. Jokic is in front of the basket, and a guy throws him the ball. Al, I've never seen this in my life. He reached out with one hand, okay, and then the same motion put it up on the board with reverse English.
I saw the replay.
No,
I saw the replay.
no matter who does that.
No, you don't.
That's
He's a pro.
when Shaq's raving.
Yes.
Oh, let's continue. It's just Phoenix the same way. Now, they didn't match. It appears. I saw something I didn't like. Ayton took a 15-footer. I'm like, where'd this come? He was always under the hoop. Now, once again, Booker, Durant. I'm not a Chris Paul fan either. To be honest, something about his personality. I know what he's done in the court. You'd be dumb, but. Do they have enough games to mesh, or are they still?
Oh, yeah, they're fine. They're fine. They
still,
lost, but they can still win.
They can win one in LA.
Yeah, yeah, no question.
So you don't see any
I don't
problem.
push them out, no.
Okay, now, the one I see, it's a mismatch, Sixers and Nets.
We're going to find out. We're going to find
Monday
out.
night they play.
I just thought that the Sixers shot Brooklyn shot 3 for 29. I mean,
Okay.
You understand? Now, if that happens, I don't think they will. I don't think you keep shooting like
In
that.
other words, you don't think they made them miss that much either. I mean, I get it.
I know they don't.
I get
No,
it.
I know Philadelphia's team.
Okay.
I know who's guarding Embiid. And,
They're third. Let me tell you, this is funny. We're not big stat men.
you are, though. You go into this stuff now.
Yeah, well,
I don't.
Well, but I mean, I don't let it affect all my wagers or
Gotcha.
whatever. Guy said the other day, there's 3 teams in the top 10 in both. But
Offense and defense.
there's only one team in the top 3 in both.
Said the Sixers.
Yeah.
I still don't think they guard. I don't care what
Yeah,
they tell me.
yeah,
Hey, we're
offensive.
going to find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. If they,
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think they guard.
Absolutely. Boston will sweep the Hawks.
I think that's the one. But I'll say now that's the one I want to say to you. I told you about the
Trae Young. Yeah, you're not a fan.
Well, see, that's why Atlanta's dangerous though, because he went 0 for 11.
He's not doing that.
But
again.
I'm saying
Yeah.
he might do it again, but he might make
he
all
might
11.
make 11.
He might make 11 for
Yeah.
11. So you have no chance. He's going to keep firing.
Now that 1-2 punch of Boston,
Oh, that's dangerous.
that's about as good as it is.
That's dangerous. Yeah.
They went for 50.
They're dangerous.
And that's not like they could go for 50
Every game.
Yeah, it's not as though something.
I think
happened.
50's light.
Okay.
25 and 25 for
No,
those
that's
two.
what I thought.
Yeah.
The most even series was the one they looked at coming in, Cleveland and Knicks. The Cavs could go to the Madison Square and win one easily. Now they can't let the next one slip.
They could.
I'll tell you what I don't like about the Lakers series. They played Game 3 isn't until Saturday.
What?
Now Game 2 must be Wednesday, is my thought. Yeah.
Tell me why.
Circus in the building,
Oh,
Billy
circus.
Joel, something like that. That is the real reason too, by the way.
Okay.
No, I don't know in that
That
particular
really
case.
stinks.
Yeah, it's too wrong.
NBA
Yep.
playing 2 games in a week.
Oh, another
Jeez.
thing too, a big injury we got to give a mention to, Tyler Hero.
Yeah, I know.
Albert, I
hurts him
swear
a
to
lot.
God, I watched this game.
That hurts a lot.
He took the dumbest dive out of loose ball I've ever seen.
That's
in
why
my
he got
life.
hurt?
Like that. Now, wait a minute. He breaks them both, right? He gets a corner shot before halftime. Net.
Still made it.
Net. Now, that's the kind of shooter these guys are about. Well, we've talked about. Al and I've told Al, I never watched the NBA till 3 years ago, COVID. And since I have no life, now I watch them all. And I've come to think of these guys in a whole different light. I always knew they were good.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had those old stereotypes. Oh, they travel. Oh, they don't guard. Watch playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs different
It's
breed,
a different thing. Denver, can they go fast? Can they go right through?
I don't know.
Minnesota?
I don't know. The NBA, I never go by one game. That's why.
And by the way,
never do
in
it.
case you missed it, you got till June 20th to catch up. That's when
You just told me to play a week and get two games in a week.
Yeah. Now, here's the one. If I don't hear another thing till that day, I'll be fine. The NFL draft. I've seen the dude at Florida who throws the ball into the ground or over your head.
He's moving up the ladder.
He's what's it called? Up the board?
He's moving up the board.
And the dude from Kentucky who got beat out by the dude at Penn State, he's going up the board. Al, I told Al the other day, I heard a guy say, it's a great line. It's like being in a bar at midnight and finally you say, you know, that girl over there is looking better. These guys are like that. They're neither one are first round. They're not close to first round.
Not our eyes are not.
No.
Not our eyes are not. No,
No, you want to tell me the dude from Southern Cal or Ohio State or Alabama, I'll listen. Don't tell me Will Levis is.
No.
And he might do well. I
still don't think he's any good.
You know what happens? Some big strong dude like the dude at Buffalo does it. So now he's in.
They're trying to make him into him. Yeah.
That's and I could be wrong. And by the way, I don't waste time with who's drafting. We work with a guy. Who will they get at the third pick? And if they take that, it's the dumbest thing in the world because all it takes is one buffoon jackass owner screw up the whole order.
Somebody's going to do it.
You need to rate them by quality.
Somebody's going to do it.
Absolutely.
I don't know when, where, how, but it's going to happen.
When they jumped up to take Trubisky.
It's going to
That's
happen.
a classic example.
Yep.
I don't worry about the order, just who the best player is, and that's a big deal. Because if the guy before you picks him, and it seems to happen to the Steelers with the Ravens a lot. The Ravens will grab someone, you think, you know, I think Pittsburgh was going to take it. Now, another story that, here, look, Aaron Rodgers. Please, Aaron, either go back and drink that wacky water you drink or quit, because we're tired.
One thing, as soon as he comes on, I turn right off. If they start talking about him, it goes right off.
Well, here's the thing, though. In his defense, when I hate to defend him.
I can't defend him.
But you say he comes on. He doesn't come on. He goes on one place only, and everybody
No,
else.
I'm talking about him.
Yeah.
No, not him.
They talk about
anybody talks
that's what
about
I'm saying.
it, I turn
Well,
off.
we have a buddy, we have a guy there's a guy in Pennsylvania. They write about him whether he wins or loses. Like, you can read halfway through the game and not know if he won or not. And I said, yeah, I always took it out of him, and I realized he didn't write it.
Right.
Like this, Rodgers, he goes to that Pat McAfee, and he's his lackey. He just lets him spew whatever
wants to say.
He throws him ball. You know, here's his questions. Well, Al, how did you beat?
They probably talk about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
That's what I thought.
But the bottom line is, on paper, that Jets team looks like it could be a bigger disaster than we've ever seen.
Yeah, he's going to end up there.
Okay.
I don't know how it's going to happen.
Now let me ask
He's going to be
you.
there.
Well, Woody Johnson is nervous about one thing. He gets on Pat McAfee and says, I was 90% retired. So right away he's thinking, well, if he only plays 1 year, we're not giving him all those dudes.
Yeah, that's what's happened. Too.
Absolutely. Let's talk MLB because the talk is one thing and one thing only. It's not Tampa. It's not Giancarlo, although we'll mention them. It's the pace of the game. They've knocked a half hour off that. Plain and simple.
Yeah, every game. They don't mess around anymore. And
well, how are you seeing it?
Never bothered me. I think we talked about it on the show.
You know, we have, in other words, as far as attending, but I'm saying, is Al the fan? Like the other night, I was watching Blacklist or something. I put the game on to see, it was over.
Yeah, the games are much quicker. No, they're a half hour quicker. That's all you got to know.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean nothing. Anything I told you. You asked me personally.
Yeah, you don't
it means zero to me.
You didn't go watch your watch.
Never looking to watch
I
ever.
I say the same
ever.
thing. Now the new rules: more runs,
Yeah, because that shift went out. You know,
Okay.
And they're running.
more action on the bases.
Well, they don't allow them to throw for first base.
You throw twice.
You just think you might be able to steal some bases. I mean, it's what can I say? It's not baseball.
It's kind of like the old days. Remember when you had to count before you rushed the quarterback and play?
But really, that's what it is.
Yeah, because I know once you threw it over twice, if you throw it over again, you don't get me. You have to get me, so you're not going to throw it over.
They're not throwing over. And they got these big relievers that used to come in the game and not hold any runners on. They didn't care.
They didn't care.
Now they're just running at will on every guy over on the mound.
And we said, you knew Tampa would get. The thing Tampa had, that I like that McClanahan guy put a stop to the losing streak. They lost back-to-back,
Yeah.
and then he steps up. Remember the old days, Marichal, Koufax?
You need that guy.
Yeah, they called them stoppers back then.
right.
I don't know what they even refer to them today. They only pitch 5 innings. Half a stopper, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Way too early, but there's one certainty in Major League Baseball. Giancarlo Stanton will either strike out or be hurt. He's hurt. What kind of... Now, remember, they used to smoke cigarettes in there. They used to sell furniture in the off-season. They'd pop a beer and have a butt in one hand and a beer in the other.
And play.
And play.
He must have so many muscles on top of muscles
Think of this one.
that he gets pulled all. He
Yeah.
can't get loosened up. No. And he's always hurt. I mean, this is another 6-week injury, not 2 weeks again.
No.
He's down for the count again.
Let's talk. As
I
a
always
whole.
think that's best for Yankees, by the way.
Yeah, you and I have spoken on this. The amount of injuries. There's one, I don't know what an oblique was, though, a few years
They still don't know what it is.
What is going on?
They got stomach muscles that we didn't have.
No.
we didn't.
No,
there was
no,
never a chance for us
no.
growing up that said,
No.
"Hey, George, did you work on your stomach today?"
No. Remember the old days, too. They would come in and get in shape.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're in shape.
But they really are in great shape. I didn't say they're not in great shape.
No, but something's
But
wrong.
they're hurt all the time.
Not enough stretching, maybe?
I don't know what it is. No, they stretch more than anybody in the history of the world.
They're still hurt.
Yes.
NCAA, the spring games are everywhere. I watched one. I know now it's spring, and, you know, how about Eddie, our buddy, went to the spring game in Pitt. The guy was yelling at Narduzzi about the play calls in the spring game.
In the spring
now,
game?
could you be any dumber?
Yeah, nobody cares what you call.
No. But I will say this. Ohio State needs some offensive linemen.
They'll get them.
They couldn't block their guy. They better get in that portal.
They'll get them. That portal.
better get in that portal.
That'll be filled up before they blink.
Yeah, they better do it.
You ask them about Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Ohio State, they'll never have a weakness.
Nope.
Never.
No, if they lose 3 in a row to Michigan.
Now they can
they've
lose to
been-
Michigan, yeah, but
Yeah,
they
and they're at
ain't lose to
Michigan.
anybody else.
No, they have Penn State at home. Don't get anyone hurt. It's the big thing.
Always.
That's all we talk about.
Always.
Now, if Michigan would beat them again 3 years in a row, would they be the top dog then in the Big Ten?
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yes,
I thought you would say
Yeah,
that.
they are.
Okay. Coaches are watching the portal like we don't. I saw one the other day that stopped me in my tracks on the crawl. The Quinnipiac head coach, Hoops, went as the portal man at Villanova.
Yeah, he understands that Quinnipiac is going to be there for long. That's
No,
why.
they're going to be D3.
Yeah, there have to be. There's no these poor schools at that you know,
NIL?
size.
Oh,
They
I
lose every one
got
of their
you.
players.
Small D1s.
They lose all their players. They don't have any players. It's a shame.
And before it's done, there's another time coming up here in April. There'll be 2,000.
Another 2,000.
And 43%, almost half,
Yep.
don't get it.
Won't make it.
And what'll happen, the slippery rocks will get better.
Yeah, all the teams get better.
And it'll
Close
just
out.
filter down.
Yeah.
And then at Westminster, they'll have 2 or 3 guys that should have played at Slippery Rock, but didn't because 3 Ohio
Right.
Youngstown guys.
Fielders down.
Yep.
No doubt.
I'm going to give this to you. You're the hockey man. Who's going to win the cup?
If you're the odds, Boston's going to win it.
Okay.
You're the odds.
I don't want that, though.
But I'm not taking Boston. Yeah.
Agree with me. It's too hard to win 16 to take that small of a price.
Well, unless you thought like, had Gretzky's
No
team.
chance, in other words.
Yeah, if it had Gretzky's team, I'd take him.
I got you.
I'm taking Edmonton just because
Okay.
I love McDavid
Okay,
that much.
okay.
We'll find out how they've never been good in the playoffs, but they're much better defensively this year.
In Boss's numbers, the team generally that piles that up doesn't win it.
Not always.
Okay. And
Not
the other
always,
thing, too,
no.
that big number, real quick, not that I'm no hockey guy. In the old days, those ties remain ties.
That was a good point. I love
Now
that
they're
point.
getting points. That's why there's more
I thought that
points.
was a great point you made.
Yeah, that is right. I mean, I
Yeah.
hate to, hey, by the way, the USFL or XFL, one of them's playing, one of them's not. Do you know the difference?
No.
I know Rock's in one of them. All I know is the Rock. Now, last minute. Golf ended in a tie Sunday. They played a 3-hole playoff instead of sudden death. Which would you prefer?
I don't. I just
No,
watch it. Yeah, there's no
problem.
report on that. No, not at all.
All right, thanks again for watching Bottom Line Sports Talk. We'll see you next week.